You can either see or you can...
Wonderful. It is 1 o'clock. All stand for the commencement of the meeting, please, councillors and directors. Swan Hill Rural City Council acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet and pays its respects to their elders past and present. The prayer today with Councillor Young.
We beseech you, Lord, that we may be granted wisdom, understanding and sincerity of purpose in the decisions we are called on to make for the welfare of the people of the rural city of Swan Hill.
Thank you. Please be seated, everyone. Thank you. Welcome to everyone viewing online as well, as there is no gallery for this unscheduled meeting of councils. Apologies or leaves of absence.
Madam Deputy Mayor, we have apologies from Councillor Moore and also Councillor King. And as Councillor Moore is an apology, you as Deputy Mayor chairing the meeting.
Thank you. Directors and officers present, we have Svetla.
I move that we accept the apologies and...
Yep. Thank you, Councillor McPhee. And seconder?
Yep.
Councillor Jeffrey.
All those in favour?
All those in favour?
Carried.
Thank you. Moving on to directors present, we have Svetla Petkova, Joel Lifsky and Heather Green. Bruce Myers is also on leave. Any disclosures of conflict of interest? None today? Okay, moving on to section B. Reports.
Madam Deputy Mayor, there are no reports or decisions which need ratification today. Being an unscheduled meeting, only the items that are listed in the agenda will be dealt with, so that takes us to section D, notices of motion.
This notice of motion, D.21.1 from Councillor McKay.
Thank you. I'll read the preamble. Read the preamble first.
Read the motion.
Read the motion. That Council receive a report at February Council meeting identifying how the total revenue generated by the sale of land at 71 and 77 Bromley Road, Robinvale, could be used for the protection of heritage or the enhancement of heritage precincts in Robinvale.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Do I have a seconder?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. Would you like to speak to the motion?
Sure. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Benham. I'll just read the preamble first. The Swan Hill Rural City Council has voted in favour of selling the land at 71 and 77 Bromley Road in 2019 and at the December 2020 Council meeting in favour of issuing a planning permit for the development of a convenience outlet on the site. The site is in the vicinity of the Visitor Information Centre, the Museum of Rural Life and Robinvale Regional War Memorial Park. Swan Hill Rural City Council supports the preservation and showcasing of heritage in Robinvale. The Council respects and recognises the commitment and substantial contribution made by the Robinvale community to the preservation of heritage and recognition of the sacrifice made by soldiers and community in war. By reserving funds generated by the sale of land at Bromley Road for the preservation of heritage values in Robinvale, Swan Hill Rural City can affirm this commitment and respect. And I'll speak a little bit further on why I thought it was important to bring this motion forward, because our council meeting we didn't have one in January, and I thought it was a long time to leave this concept in limbo, which is the idea that council can show a positive benefit to the community by the sale of the land and the development of the site. That is also bringing forward some very positive benefits and hopefully assuaging some of the concerns of the community so we can receive a double benefit. I'm sure that council never meant any disrespect at all, but trying to marry the positives of commercial development alongside development of other interests such as heritage and tourism. So it is with that thought that I bring this motion forward, that we can ask for a report and explore those options. It doesn't commit us to any said funding, but it does look at the potentials that could be there. So I would ask for the support of the council in that. I think this could be at least a positive exploration of the possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Councillor Jeffrey, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I'll speak against the motion, and I've moved it so that we could debate it. Is the funds used to purchase the land of 71 and 77 Bromley Road in Robin Vale is taken from a central pool that all ratepayers contribute to in order to purchase strategic land throughout the whole municipality, and the sales gained and all the revenue from that should be put back into that central pool of funding in order to do future land acquisitions across our whole municipality. And I think any future projects that the Robin Vale community wish to take up can be achieved through identifying in their Robin Vale Township their community plan of what else they want to see invested in the future. So I speak against it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. Do I have any other speakers for the motion?
Can I ask a question, Madam Chair,
Of course.
of the officers? Is this, bearing in mind that we have a VCAT decision pending in relation to this land, is the sale of this land subject to that VCAT decision? Have we actually received any money from this land as yet?
Madam Mayor, that's two questions. The contract of sale of land is not subject to any planning outcomes. It is an unconditional contract, and the contract has not yet settled. It is to settle by tomorrow. We've provided the purchaser with a number of extensions. No further extensions have been provided. And Council does currently hold a deposit for the purchase, 10% of the purchase price. So we hold $35,000. They would be considered to be proceeds of the sale.
So just a follow-up question, if you don't mind. So that means if they don't pay the balance by tomorrow, all we get is the deposit and that's all.
Well,
and then the land's up for sale again.
The purchaser is out of contract. It's the council decision as to in which way we then proceed. He may then choose to settle at some later stage, and it's up to the council as to whether we accept that arrangement or not. The other complicating factor is the contract of sale has a provision in it that if the development doesn't proceed, that council has the right to buy the land back off the purchaser. So on the basis that the purchaser has settled now or some stage in the future, and then the development doesn't proceed, either because it doesn't get planning approval or because the developer chooses not to proceed, to avoid having a block of land stymied in private ownership in such a strategic location, the contract has a clause that allows council to purchase the property back at the purchase price. So that should be kept in mind when considering this motion, I guess. There's lots of what ifs.
So do we have any other speakers for the motion?
I have another question to the CEO. What is the time limit on that land needing to be developed before a repurchase of the land would be considered? There must be some sort of a...
I think it's 1 year and 2 years, but I would need to check. If anyone has any better knowledge?
I thought it was 2 years from date of purchase that they had to have commenced development.
2 years for commencement. The date of purchase will be date of contract, not date of settlement, which is a few months back now.
And just one final question: How do we arrive at what the total revenue generated by the sale of that site is?
In my mind, through you, Madam Deputy Mayor, in my mind, given the wording of the motion, it is the proceeds of sale. It is the total sum received.
Thank you.
Speakers against the motion?
I'd like to speak against the motion. I'd like to just reiterate the comments made by Councillor Jeffrey. I just feel that we could be creating a precedent that's going to tie officers up having to write reports on lots of things that might come up about land in question in all the different areas that we've got within that council that may not be something that really achieves big outcomes, and especially when it's coming out of ratepayer funds. I just don't think it's something that we should be aiming to do by tying up our officers and continually doing these sorts of things.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Any other speakers?
I'll have my say. Thank you, Madam Chair. Look, I disagree with the motion as well. Look, I understand the sentiment in relation to this, the emotion around the Robin Vale site, but as has previously been stated, land right through our municipality is bought from ratepayers' money right through our municipality. If we start going down this line, we set a bad precedent in respect of some of those smaller towns that we don't have any land in will completely miss out on any opportunity for money generated from the sale of land into their facilities within their community plans. I think it's a poor thing, even though at this stage all we're asking for is a report, but I think it's just a bad indication to say, right, let's ask for a report in relation to that when we're going to say no to the report into the future. And I think it's just wasting councillors' officers' time in preparing that report, that I think it's appropriate that we look at any sale of any land anywhere. We do own a number of number of parcels of land in Robinvale, which shouldn't be just to spend in Robinvale. It should be spent right across our municipality, because every ratepayer pays into a fund, and that money goes into a fund that could very well be spent in Robinvale in the future. But by doing this, we're going to tie ourselves to spending it in Robinvale. I think that's inappropriate. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Since everyone has spoken, we'll take it to a vote.
Councillor McKay has the right to...
Councillor McKay, would you like to respond? Sorry.
Certainly I would. I think I can understand people's points of view. I can understand, but this is in no way wanting to set a precedent in particular at all. But I think as councillors we represent our communities, and when we have sticking always, sometimes our communities would like us to find solutions, and it's not always and every single time going to be within the bounds of precedent or policy. Sometimes they want us to find positive outcomes out of difficult situations, and this is an attempt, and yes, it's a creative attempt. However, we've got some significant heritage and planning issues in Robinvale. They've had unprecedented community concern, and this is simply asking for a report. And the other steps, such as community projects, so many of the community spend so much time in providing free, voluntary effort to previous projects that have gone on, and so these things, that's asking for yet more time, I guess, is just asking for, it's a long way down the track, and I'm seeking to achieve something in a quicker space of time should this sale go ahead, so that the results can be seen more quickly in the community and not to set a precedent. Thank you. I complete my discussion.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Now we shall take it to a vote. All those in favour of the motion? All those against the motion? So the motion lapses. Lost. This is lost. So we're moving on to our next motion, which is D.21.2, highway signage promoting the Robinvale Town Centre. Councillor McKay.
I move that Council commits to scoping improved highway billboard signage on the Sturt and Murray Valley highways to promote Robinvale Central Business District, Perrin Street, and the facilities and services provided there, particularly hospitality.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder for this motion?
I'll second the motion.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Councillor McKay, would you like to speak to the motion?
Yes. This motion is brought about in response also to the potential planning the project for the hospitality service at Bromley Road, and also with a view to the community thinking of the promoting the Robinvale CBD, which was seen as the project, the commercial development that is potentially going to occur could promote people not stopping in the town. And it's only, I personally don't have that opinion. However, it did cause me to look at our town signage generally and think that we could do with, as a council, looking at how we are promoting our CBDs and other tourist attractions, but as a beginning to think of that particular issue there in Robinvale. So thinking that would be good information for us to have and how we can improve that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay. Councillor Young.
I think it's probably something that we could do. It's probably reasonably appropriate that the expenditure be undertaken to actually show what is in the main street and to keep a lot of the people in there a little bit happier about things that are going on. And I think they're very positive about the developments of Bromley Road, so I think we'll probably just improve that as well. So yeah, I don't have any issues with it, because the scoping will work out a reasonable amount of expenditure and different things about sizes of signs. So I think it's a fine motion.
Thank you, Councillor Young. Do we have any other speakers for the motion? Any speakers against the motion?
I'll speak against the motion, Madam Chair. Look, the sentiment behind this is very good. Unfortunately, if you drive into Robinvale from either direction, you are bombarded by signage, as it is now. I think, and this goes right throughout a municipality. You drive into Swan Hill, you are bombarded by signage. I think by putting more signs there, you're not doing any favours to the community of Robinvale, because it just gets lost in other signage we've got there. I think this would be more appropriate, maybe down the track, for officers to work with Vic Roads to remove some of the signage we already have there and find out what appropriate signage needs to be there, and then look at putting our stuff in it at the same time. I think it's too limited to look at just Robinvale on itself. I think this is a municipality-wide issue that we should look at it municipality-wide, and maybe look at down the track as working a plan up with Vic Roads to find out what signs we don't need for a start, get rid of them before we start adding more signs to a over-signed area. I think there's a song in relation to this about signs, everywhere are signs. I think it's very appropriate that we've got to start looking at that and realising, let's look at it municipality-wide rather than just one business district. Swan Hill itself, Naya West, as I say, it's CBD, a historic tourist town. We need to look at it right across our municipality to encourage the signage is appropriate for the area and get rid of the stuff we don't need. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Councillor McPhee. Councillor McKay, would you like to respond?
I can't suggest an amendment, can I?
You can't amend your own motion. No.
Not when it's been seconded.
This motion clearly is in response to a particular issue and a particular concern. However, I'm in agreement with Councillor McPhee that it is a municipality-wide issue. If I look at the signage on the Murray Valley Highway for the Piney Settlement, I think it's woefully inadequate as it happens, and don't know how anyone would really notice there are riverboat rides. So I do support us absolutely having a review of signage to ensure that we are promoting our attractions and our businesses appropriately. However, I do think that this could be done sensitively and it could be done appropriately. There are so many fantastic hospitality venues in Robinvale. It is sensible for us, given that it's a town quite separate from other towns, where people will be looking for refreshment, will be looking for that we promote that appropriately and support those businesses there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor McKay.
Can I foreshadow a motion at our next meeting, Madam Mayor, in relation to this, depending where this goes?
Absolutely, Councillor McPhee. Thank you. No further speakers. We will take it to a vote. All those in favour of the motion? 2. All those against the motion? Which means I have the casting vote, doesn't it?
You're entitled to a vote.
You've got to vote. You've got to vote.
You still vote.
And I vote for the motion.
Carried.
Thank you.
So carried.
Carried. And we are to move into some in-camera items now. Could I have someone move a motion to go to in-camera? I will close the meeting to the public.
I'll move a motion we close the meeting to the public for the in-camera items.
Thank you, Councillor Jeffrey. Can I have a seconder? Thank you, Councillor McPhee. So we will... There's no clock in front of me.
1:19.
So we'll declare the meeting closed at 1:19.